In the previous video we create that our snake is moving smoothly forward, and in this video we create the meal for the snake, and when the snake eats the meal, the snake will be longer. So for that I go into my script, and first I need a dictionary which contains my meal. So the private dictionary, the key is a tuple with int, that's the position of the meal, and an image. I call it the meal dictionary, and I instantiate this dictionary. Then I need a method, a private void create new meal. So if the meal dictionary.count is 0, then the game doesn't has a meal and I have to create ones. So boolean finish is true, and I use a while loop, and inside this while loop I have to create a random position for my meal. So when we create the snake, we have here the random x and the random y, and then we create a tuple for our positions. So I copy this and paste it here into my while loop. So the meal, the position of the meal is possible on every place expected on the border of my game. So every position with 0 or 9, that's the border of my game, and there can't be a meal because the snake can't access this border at the end of the game. So the apple can reach on position 1 exclusive 9, and also for the y-axis position 1 exclusive 9. So then I have a position of meal, and now I have to ask if my snake and the parts of snake dot contains this position, so I can't insert a meal into this position. So I have to try to create a new next random position. When this position is free, I can instantiate a new game object. So I copy this place here and paste it here. I create a new instance from type image. In my panel, the instance size, I need a picture size, so I copy also this code snippet before my while loop starts. Now I have the picture size. The picture is a little bit smaller than the snake. Then I need a sprite. In our resource folder we have the apple, so I use this for my meal, apple. Then the position of meal we calculate always. Then the position of meal is this position here, and what we have to do, we insert into the meal dictionary the new meal, and we say that's the position of meal, and the instance is the apple. So If I save the game and I start the game in Unity, nothing happens because I does not invoke this method. I invoke this method here in this part in our coroutine. So inside our while loop on the end, I call the method create a new meal, and this method creates a new meal if no meal exists. So I save the script, I go into Unity and start the game. Now we see I get a lot of apples. That's because I does not break this while loop here. So if I instantiate a new meal, I say finish is false. Then the while loop here is finish. Now I save the script and I try to start the game. And we see I get 1 apple. The next thing what we have to do is when the snake reaches the position of the apple, the snake has to get a new element, and the apple has to be removed from the game. So, and this happens also in our coroutine. In this position I ask if the meal dictionary dot count is greater than 0, so I have a meal in the game, but that's not what I need. What I need is if the meal dictionary dot contains key, and the key is the same than the next position of my head from the snake. So the snake will reach the meal and the snake have to eat the meal. So boolean has meal is false, and when the head of the snake in the next position gets to the position of the apple, I can say has meal is true. Now I know that the snake gets a meal, and when the snake head reaches the field, I want to delete the apple. I delete the apple if k is 30, so I delete the apple when the snake is on 30% of the position from the field, and I say meal dictionary next position dot game object dot set active, and I set this active to false. Then I say meal dictionary clean the dictionary, so delete the instance of the dictionary. But I only use this body of this if case here only when the snake has a meal. So I know the next position is the position of the meal, and this normally works. So after the loop reaches the last element, I create a new instance. So if k is 1, and the snake has a meal, and I is the last element of our list of our elements, count -1. Sorry, count -1. So if k is 1, and the snake has a meal, and this running variable is the last element of the list, I instantiate a new middle part of the snake. So here in the method we create a snake, and I have here the middle part. So I copy this and paste it into my if block. So I call this instance, I rename this to new middle part. I instantiate the image on my panel. I need here also the picture size, so I copy the picture size and the width of my panel. My source code is not beautiful, but that's not necessary. So I create my size, I create my sprite, that's the middle sprite. Then I need the position of my last element. So I can call here, the position is snake dot tuples, and I gave him an instance, and I use last positions dot last. So give me the last instance of my last position list, where every instance is stored, and from this tuples here I get the tuple, and that's my position. So now I have here the position of new middle part. The new middle part gets this position, and the rest I can delete for the first time. So after this loop is finished here, the snake is moved, and I have to insert my new element into my snake object. So if has meal, that's wrong. No, that's right. If has meal, so I now the head reached a meal. I have here my middle part, but I cannot access this part here inside this if statement, so I have to create here a new image. I call it the new middle part, and this new middle part is null. And when I have a meal, or the snake has a meal, I can use this middle part here. So I have to insert it into the new parts of snake dictionary dot add. So now I need the position and the image value. The position was the last position of the last previous element, and the image is the new middle part. Oh, I get here an instance, so I have to call underline snake dot parts of snake or tuples, and with this dictionary and my last instance I get the last position, and this position is the last position of the previous element, is the new position of the new element. Then I have to insert this new instance also in the tuple dictionary. So the position, the game object is the new middle part, and the position is always this. And I cannot forget that I have to insert the new instance into our list of parts. New middle part. So I save the script. Now I go to Unity and I start the game. Now I get my apple. I reach my apple and we see the snake is longer. Up. I think that works. Well, the next step is to implement that the snake, when the snake bites itself, or when the snake reaches the border here, the game has to be finished without an exception. So we will implement this in the next video.